It's NAB 2025, and I'm here on the Matrox stand with Marwan, and we're talking about one of the Matrox Origin. And we're
Absolutely.
There's been an evolution.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Yeah, so we announced Matrox Origin a couple of years ago, and we've been really on the track of how to use IT equipment properly to really transition from our bespoke hardware backgrounds as an industry towards more software-defined infrastructure for live production. And this is really a journey, it's a paradigm shift from what traditionally our industry has been doing, and we're at the forefront of it, doing amazing things with software that really surpasses what the industry has been doing with hardware interconnects, and really taking it to the next level, a complete paradigm shift.
So is it effectively it's a control package?
It is actually a development framework.
Okay.
So in this software world where anything is possible, what we're trying to do, what we're doing is replacing our bespoke hardware that's interconnected with a synchronous interconnect, and where we control one box to another box to another box to build really complex systems. But in reality, if we look at how the IT industry builds systems, they have a source and a destination, and processing interconnected as fast as possible, going through many different paths. And that's how we as an industry have to start building our systems.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're taking the requirements of what the industry has been asking from us and vendors to build, and we're mapping it onto how the IT industry solves these problems. And we're giving it in a way where, from an operator perspective, from a user perspective, everything is seamless, looks like a traditional system, but under the hood, it's revolutionary. It's running as IT equipment should run.
And as far as there is an industry challenge with skill sets required. Video guys know video, broadcast engineers know broadcast. The introduction of IT skills. Have you got a layer on top that helps the video world understand what you're trying to achieve?
So when we start talking about IT industry, we think about networking problems.
Yeah.
We think about networking specific problems to the broadcast industry. But what we're really trying to do is saying, well, let's use our expertise as broadcast engineers to focus on broadcast problems and give the IT problems to the IT industry that has these. So if we use IT equipment in the way that it was meant to be used with standard IT methodologies, well, there's a wealth of IT people that can operate systems that way. And this is what Matrox Origin is, running IT equipment the way it was meant to do, while respecting the requirements of the broadcast industry of building systems that are low latency, that are responsive, that are frame accurate, that can scale, and that can route between really large scale systems. So these are the core things that we sought out to solve, and that's sort of the genesis of where Matrox Origin came, as a development framework to build custom solutions. And I can show you a lot of things.
You can show us. It looks like a little window has appeared next to the screen. So why don't we go and have a demo? You can, show us a bit what's going on. We're going to move over there now. Let's have a look. So we've made it over to the demo area. Go on.
Absolutely. So what I want to do is actually describe the components of what Matrox Origin is, so that we can put this into context and really understand what it means to build software-defined infrastructure running on IT equipment. So let's start with the hardware components. So these could be public cloud instances or on-premises data center equipment with professional I/O. And what we're talking about Matrox Origin, what we're talking about is a media-aware framework that really brings scalability, timing, resilience, flow of data across systems. Okay. And this is actually the framework. This is the heart of what we're doing, but and it doesn't actually do anything for a user. What a user actually needs is a user needs media services, and the media services are what crunch data for us. And and what we provide are APIs to build the media services, or we have a set of media services that we've built ourselves to perform work for us. Now, in order to provision these media services that are stateless, well, you need a control application that puts them in a certain workflow. So what we provide are APIs that allow somebody to build an application that puts these media services into a workflow of a certain description. And To complete the picture, well, in a real-world environment, we need an orchestration system to measure what's happening, to provision, to automate deployments, and really make judicious decisions on the infrastructure to deploy systems. And we provide deployment scripts, Terraform scripts to deploy that, and we have metrics in the system to understand what's happening in this environment. And these are the components of Matrox Origin. So we have these components over here, the deployment scripts, the APIs to build control applications, the APIs to build media services, and we have the framework and the metrics. And this is, in our definition of a software-defined media infrastructure, these are the layers that can put us into the new paradigm of running in a completely IT infrastructure. Now, the question is how do we achieve what we do today in hardware, but completely in software, not compromising on our requirements of quality, latency, frame accuracy, large scale routing, determinism, and really observable infrastructure. Because when a problem happens, what we want to be able to dig into it, see what happened, and operate and maintain these systems. And of course, best of breed. Now with that, I'm going to try to spice it up a little bit and actually build something in runtime for us to see how the system works.
Good luck.
What we're going to do is we're running all our demos in AWS. So we can go over here and let's take a look at the systems that we have, and we'll be controlling these systems with 3 different applications. And these are demo applications really to show what is possible, because everything is software defined, any workflow can be built. So we'll be running some applications from our PC down here in beautiful Vegas, and we'll be controlling systems in Oregon. And our system is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different EC2 instances to perform the work that we're going to do. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to define together this a workflow of a master control video mixer workflow, where we have a couple of sources, we have a couple of mixers that we control, and in runtime we can create all this. So let's start by getting this whole infrastructure up and ready for us. So we have a system over here. So we have some of the tools that I'm going to use today. So I have an engineering tool over here, and what I can do is I can restore a configuration, and my configuration over here that I'm restoring is bringing up these 4 different hosts, these 4 different computers, these 4 EC2 instances, and on these EC2 instances we have all these media services that are spawning, and they're starting to operate. And this view over here of the media services is an engineering perspective of what's happening, and we've just built up this whole workflow together in runtime. So here's an engineering view of the system, and here's a routing panel that controls the system, and this is a mixer panel for an operator view. Now, I want to emphasize that these are demonstration tools, because what we're providing is a framework, APIs to build this. And the way I'll be showing it to you, Matt, is I'll be showing you an operator view, and I'll be showing you an engineering view of the system. So let's start with the operator view. We have purposely built a very large-scale system, and a large-scale system is actually 4 different computers that are working together with media services, and we have a control application that's controlling all these media services that give us this functionality over here. And let's see what we have here. We have a preview window, we have a program window, and we have a traditional view of a system. And this traditional view of the system, we have a preview bus over here, we have a program bus, and we're taking this all to air, and we have some transitions. So the system feels like it's a traditional SDI-based system, because everything is processed in uncompressed. So it doesn't really matter from an operator perspective how the data is mapped, how the media services are going. But if I'm an operator, I can switch to anything And I will put this down because I need my both hands.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
We can see
Yeah.
how wide this bus is. And I could be taking sources that's on one host or on another host, and it doesn't really matter from an operator perspective because I don't need to know these details. This is the job of my engineers, my developers who've made these decisions to distribute. So we're controlling all these distributed media services, and they appear like one monolithic control plane, but in reality we're controlling many different media services. So
Cool.
scalability in a software world is not a problem. We are controlling 4 different hosts to do the job that is required. So this control application can span 1 host, 2 hosts, 3 hosts, 4, 10, 20, and we've in a way decoupled the requirement of an application from the underlying hardware.
Okay.
And traditionally, when we think about limitations of what a single system can do, well, that's something of the past because we can distribute processing and we can control all these media services frame accurately to create a desired outcome. Yeah. And I will show you some of the controls, the responsiveness of the system, the latency in the system of this distributed environment as I put this down.
Cool.
So I'll put this back into a more user-friendly interface, and what we could do some very simple operations on this demo mixer panel, and you could see the responsiveness that's built into the system. And once again, everything in the system runs as fast as possible and is interconnected as fast as possible, and running all with uncompressed video. And let's just do some transitions over here, and I can take that, and you could see instantaneous feedback. We can take some DVEs as well. We can take some graphics, and that. Let me take. Oh, that's not. Let me put this over here instead, and let me put this over here. And we have so we're controlling the system, and the system is quite responsive. And so what we traditionally think of bottlenecks don't exist. We've completely decoupled the software from the hardware and creates very scalable systems, elastic systems, and really agile systems.
I'm interested in a way. Hope this isn't challenging. This could probably work on a touchscreen.
Oh, this can, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can do that right now. We could do this. Let's say do this. And
so you're on a touchscreen. Well, there you go.
I'm on touchscreen, and really giving a custom user interface that suits the needs of the operator. Since everything is API based, absolutely any user interface can be
and they can build
adapted
it to look and feel how they want. Really,
absolutely.
Brilliant. Now, big questions really. Is this something I can get hold of now? Is it shipping?
Absolutely.
Yet?
So yes, so it's shipping. One of the things that we've is that our industry is going through a software transformation right now.
Yeah.
And the software transformation presents opportunities for everybody.
Yeah.
So from broadcasters, professional media producers, well, there's a challenge to produce a lot more content with a lot less resources, and with the same rights that are available today. So how do we do that? And we really have to lean into the cloud. We have to lean into IT equipment because that is capable of providing that capability. But at the same time, we can't compromise on our heritage of the broadcast heritage that really differentiates our storytelling from what makes us professional storytellers. So we really need to reconcile that. And looking at it from that perspective, what we see is that a lot of the professional media producers want to play with the technology stack. They have developers that want to integrate. They want to build custom solutions, like you were saying. They want 4 buttons, and they want to have something very, very simple.
Yeah.
They want to shut it down and build something that's worthy of a tier 1 sports with 50 sources, 100 sources, and really have the same look and feel and same quality of production. So for end users, professional media producers, there's a desire or an appetite to build some deployments themselves, to build custom UIs themselves, and at the same time, we're seeing from system integrators that in a world of software defined, anything is possible. And flexibility means complexity. And how do you take something that's very flexible and create something relevant out of it? Well, from a system integrator perspective, that's a lot of value add service and really customization and tailoring to customers, to sort of their customers' problems. So lots of value add that they can add as well, especially because they have the software development capability. And then from technology providers in this new paradigm is technology providers. We've all had dormant IP that's sitting in huge monolithic applications. Well, if we break it up, we can breathe new life into that IP and really create new value for our companies to really solve real world problems. And putting this all together, we're seeing in this new software transformation of our industry, there's a lot of work, a lot of opportunities for many different people to participate in.
Yeah, let's face it, the software-defined infrastructure, whether we want to embrace buzzwords or avoid them,
absolutely,
people understand what it means.
Absolutely,
and it's really, scalability.
Yeah,
it's responsiveness. It's
and it's really leaning into the IT industry, all the innovations that they've done, and using it to our advantage, so we could fuel our innovation on top of theirs.
Online demos, or is there? How do people experience it if they're not here?
Online demos. There's our website. You can reach out to us. We have people ready to engage.
Well, your local reseller, your local SI,
absolutely,
your local, or get in touch
or contact
with
Matrox directly,
and they'll get you in touch. Thank you very much, Marwan.
Thank you, Matt.
It's been very interesting. I've enjoyed that. For everything else that we're doing at NAB 2025, it's kitplus.com.